who I am.
Powered by Riverside FM.
The mystery behind the Harrison Smith deal, man, is becoming more perplexing by the day. The Minnesota Vikings have downgraded Harrison Smith to being out for the game Monday night against the Chicago Bears, and he will not travel with the team. And so here's where I stand with this, man. Obviously it has been organized as such where the organization, Harrison Smith, they want to keep this thing quiet. It has been labeled as a personal illness. And I've been watching football for a long time, been following the NFL for a long time. And there have been times, obviously, during the NFL where, during the, meat and potatoes of the season from week to week, coaches kind of fudge or kind of err on the side of not releasing too much in terms of players and their injuries to not give the other team a decisive advantage when it comes to scheme. This doesn't feel that way. And so you have to just start to rack your brain, UP Nation, on what it is. Like, what could it be? The beat writers and people that are close to the situation have come out and said that it's not a mental illness. It is not a mental illness. But the Minnesota Vikings and their organization, they keep framing it as an illness, not an injury. So you can take off ankle, you can take off knee, back, shoulder, whatever you want to put in terms of physical injury. It would be common sense to take that off the table. Okay? So then the Minnesota Vikings have also put out that it's something, obviously, that is going to have to be monitored from week to week. So I'm trying to rack my brain and I'm trying to figure out what is something that you're going to have to be monitored from week to week. And again, I'm just going from the trend of the NFL and how they report injuries. I mean, nothing really ever has been this secretive in my experience watching the NFL. Again, there are times where injury reports are fudged from game to game, but this has been a month, man, since August 11th. And it's now September 7th. So I'm trying to rack my brain on what the illness could be. And as soon as my mind goes to something pretty significant, keep in mind, UP Nation, Skull Nation, Purple Gang, keep in mind that he's been on the practice field for the past couple of days. So how significant can it be if he's been on the practice field the past couple of days? It can't be something that is catchy where it could spread to the other team because he's been in the facility. He's been practicing with the Minnesota Vikings, albeit limited. So what could it be to have him miss so much time? If it's your basic illness, like the flu or COVID or whatever, things that are not super significant, what's the big deal about reporting it? See, I'm trying to dissect this thing and I'm trying to hit it from all angles. And I'm not one of these people that feel like they have the right to know. Harrison Smith, whatever he wants to keep personal and private, he has the right to be able to do that. I just know that usually the trend in the NFL is that's not the way it usually goes, especially if it's something that's not super significant. I mean, the Minnesota Vikings have already ruled him out. So now the Chicago Bears at least know that he's not going to be in uniform and he's not even going to be on the plane flight. Like, he's not even going to travel with the team. So I'm just trying to look at this from all angles. Like, if there's somebody out there that knows all the information, like, put it in the comments. Like, what do you think is going on with Harrison Smith and the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, you're only left to speculate. And here's the deal. I know journalists, I know reporters, I know beat writers. And whenever you watch the B-Flow press conferences or the KOC press conferences or anybody that gets in front of a microphone with these beat writers, there is no level of pushing the envelope to try to figure out what's going on. So you're only left to speculate that the beat writers know, they have an understanding as a group that they're not going to push KOC for answers. And I know that journalists usually don't adhere to that, which leads me to believe that they already know. And everyone is in agreement that they're not going to push this. They're not going to leak it out. They're not going to release anything to the public in terms of Harrison Smith health, which they shouldn't. But again, journalists never follow any procedural things. Everybody wants to be the person to break the story. So there is that level of respect for Harrison Smith, KOC, and the Minnesota Vikings organization. That is apparent. But to be out so long, I mean, since August 11th to now September 7th, it's got to be something. It's got to be something significant. And I'm just trying to figure out what it is. And here's the thing. You know the level of leadership that Harrison Smith has. You know how important football is to Harrison Smith. I mean, a couple of years ago, he was talking about how physically bad he felt. But as B-Flow started to take this defense over, he wanted to come back. My guy, Patrick Buchanan, reported several times when he had an opportunity to talk to Harrison Smith, he said he loved playing in this B-Flow defense. And many had speculated that if B-Flow would have gotten another job this year, Harrison Smith probably would have retired. So for Harrison Smith, number one, to not be able to play, to number two, not be able to travel with the team, knowing the type of leader he is, first game of the season, NFL opener, you have to understand that Harrison Smith would want to be there. What could keep him off that plane and traveling an hour's flight to Chicago? There's not anything, there's no information out there. It only leads you to speculate. And again, it's his personal illness. And I don't have the right to know anything. But heck, I'm a Minnesota Vikings content creator. This is a big story. So I'm just trying to wrap my brain around without putting false narratives out there, false speculation out there. Like I'm not even going to try to speculate what it is in terms of guessing and putting that out there on video. But I have an idea that the beat writers know. Obviously, the Minnesota Vikings know, and it's something that is pretty significant out there, and it's being labeled really weird as a personal illness. And the beat writers have come out and said at least this, that it's not a mental illness. So what could it be? UP Nation, Skull Nation, Purple Gang. I'm just trying to speculate what would keep Harrison Smith off the plane to go to their opener. It's weird, man. It's a weird situation because I care about the person more than the football player. It's a scary situation. Like, it's becoming scary now. It's becoming scary. And just thinking about this whole thing, it's just weird, man. It's just a weird thing, and it keeps getting weirder by the day because it's so secretive. What could be such a big deal that it is that secretive? You know, when COVID was running rampant, a few years ago, like there were a lot of people that would hide that they had COVID, and people didn't want to let other people know that they had COVID, because if you had COVID, you had to be away from the team. You know, you had to go through a procedure to come back. There was all of that stuff. But that time has passed, so to speak. So I'm just trying to figure things out, man. If you have any comments, thoughts about the Harrison Smith situation, put it in the comments, man. It's just again a scary situation. And when they ruled him out and said he wouldn't travel, that's just another layer on top of what has been a mystery month when it comes to Harrison Smith, man. It's just really weird. This has been Unconventional Playbook. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Only takes a second. Please help continue to grow the channel. And as always, UP Nation, we will see you when we see you. Prayers out to Harrison Smith. Skol.